I'm going live.
Okay, how do I do this?
Good morning. Hello, Click Synergy Clickers and all of our new guests. We're going to give you guys a minute or two to log on before we dive into the training. It's very exciting. Let me know if you are watching this, what kind of business you own. Do you own a restaurant? Do you own a retail store? Do you own a manufacturer? Let us know so I can maybe give you some ideas as I'm talking. Give everybody a minute or so to log on before we dive in. Hey, Miss Randa. Massage therapist watching. Well, that's exciting. Ooh, a therapist. I might need one of these before that's all said and done, Miss Celeste. Woo! The anxiety of quarantine, it's terrible. I always feel like when I start a Facebook Live and I'm waiting for people to get on for a training that I should have like Jeopardy music playing in the background or something that's sort of, you know. Gun store and indoor shooting range. It's a good one, Keith Collier. Love your place. All right, one more minute and we will get started. Yay! My teammate Alyssa is on. She's gonna try to help answer questions and thank you for the background music. Sita coming in a pinch. Restaurant. Okay, Karen.
What's your live not coming on my feed? There we are.
We use a lot of essential oils. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Art and More Gallery. Okay. Okay, everyone. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to this training on Facebook Live and quarantine engagement. It is absolutely surreal to me that this is a training that we're doing right now, but that is the world that we live in. So a couple of housekeeping things. Alyssa is going to be tagging some of you guys. We went ahead and let you in the group even if you didn't answer the questions that were a requirement to be in the group because we don't want you to miss the training, but you need to check your other inbox. I don't know if you know that like for your Facebook Messenger, you have a main inbox for messages and then you have an other inbox when people send you messages when they're not connected with you as a friend. And I need you guys to get back with her because we have some tracking things that we have to keep up with for some reports that we have to do. So please help us out and give us that information. That would be great. Alyssa has already reached out to you in your other inbox, and she will tag you in this to let you know if you need to answer that. So to get started, this is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be going over like the basics of Facebook Lives, tips and tricks, and then also what you can be doing right now to engage your audience during quarantine, during this completely unprecedented time, so that you can maybe leverage and maneuver your business through this. Just to give you guys a little bit of background about me so you're not like, who is this Looney Tune trying to tell me all this stuff about Facebook. My name is Ashley Morrow. I'm the managing partner of Click Synergy. Click Synergy is a coaching and consulting company. We also own a retail incubator called the Shops at Coldwater in downtown Tuscumbia, Alabama. I invented a product called Alchemy Jewelry Sealer. I've been featured on the Home Shopping Network 4 times. I'm in 500 stores around the country, including the Grommet, Hallmark, and currently I'm being featured on Jewelry TV known as JTV. I started a clothing line called Allure Apparel that was a small boutique line that was in about 40 shops around the country. So when I talk about really understanding sales and leveraging customer interaction, there's some teeth to that. Like I want to share the tips with you guys of what has built my business and helped make it successful. So I want you right now to hit the wow reaction emoji if you struggle with Facebook Lives. Like if this is a new thing for you and you're trying to figure out how you're going to implement it, how you're going to use it to engage, I want you to hit that wow button so I sort of know like our expertise level on here. That is also a good tool for engagement when you're doing a live, is asking for a reaction out of people, okay? So that kind of reaction helps drive up engagement, and it helps drive up the algorithm. So like how Facebook reads a video or reads a piece of engagement is gonna, how many reactions does it get? How much real conversation is it having? So the number one rule of business is that people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. And that sounds incredibly simple, okay? Except that right now we have an opportunity to create a relationship, which sounds somewhat complicated. The hard part is this message overload that we have. The average Facebook user scrolls Facebook the height of the Statue of Liberty every day. I want that to sink in for you. That's a lot of messages, okay? That's a lot of message overload to overcome, and that's why your relationship with your customers and with your friends and with your network are more important than ever. I have always said that your net worth is tied to your network. So your ability to create a network, your ability to leverage that network is going to be tied to that bottom dollar. So right now, your customers are really looking at you to take the lead and set the mood for what's happening right now. So this is a really stressful, hard time. I don't know about you guys, but I've had to fight really, really hard not to just take to the bed. That's what us old Southern ladies say, I just want to take to the bed. But it feels like sometimes that we're just waiting for this terrible, awful thing to happen to us, when what we need to be doing is working harder than ever to save our businesses. So I get an extreme sense of satisfaction feeling like I'm not just waiting for this big, huge piano called coronavirus to come in and take my business away from me, that maybe I'm doing enough to sort of step outside the way that I can survive once it's all said and done. So people want you to be real and they want to engage with you, but they also want you to be upbeat, okay? So we can be honest and we can be upbeat. Like I make a lot of jokes about like, whoo, this anxiety is going to take me under. Thank goodness for Zoloft. I mean, people like that. They like to connect. They like to hear that it's hard for you too, that they're not the only one sitting at home and struggling. So these are some tips that I want you to remember when you're doing a Facebook Live, when you're doing social selling, when you're trying to connect with people on videos. One, you need to keep your face open, okay? So don't be doing this. Do you see this right here? These are called gel bars, okay? Some of you guys get that Botoxed out, so it's literally not an option for you. But be sure, look how wide my eyes are, my face is open, I'm not scowled, I'm not closed, my shoulders are back and relaxed, I look open. This is that really subtle body language that tells you, I'm relaxed, I'm gonna be easy to talk to, I want you to listen to me. It also makes you look credible and it makes you look like an expert, okay? So just be relaxed, be calm, keep your face open, and smile. If you will smile when you talk, you just sound happier on the offset. Be careful when you start a Facebook Live, before you ever hit the live button, make sure you're already smiling. There is very few things in the world that bug me more than somebody to go live and this is how it starts. Hi, how are you doing? Fake news, canceled. It's the worst. It's the worst because then you feel like nothing they say is genuine, that they're being fake happy, they're being fake bubbly. So start that way. Before you ever hit that button, be smiling and be ready. If you have to bounce a little bit, that's okay, but just be sure that your face is open and that you're ready. And for the love, might be the best advice that you'll hear on this. Do not go back and watch your video. Don't do it. I've been on Home Shopping Network 4 times. I have never gone back and watched a segment. Why? Because I didn't make that segment for me. I made that segment for customers. You're not making these Facebook Lives for you. You're making these Facebook Lives for your customers and for your network and for your friends and for your family and for your customers. So Don't go back and watch it, because here's what you'll do. You'll be like, does my chin really look like that? Do I really sound like that? Why do I have a Fred in the world? What's going on with my hair? Why did I think I looked cute that day? You will literally tear yourself apart. Don't do it. Don't go back and watch it. I mean, most professional actors have a hard time going back and watching themselves, and that's after they've had like a team doing their hair and makeup. So like, give yourself some grace, give yourself a pass, and don't do it. Okay, so we've sort of gone over the basics of actually setting that part up and what we want our face to look like. But let's talk about what you're doing on your Facebook page. And there's a really important question to ask yourself. Are you talking at your customers, or do you talk to your customers? And there's a difference between that. So if I'm talking at my customers, all I'm doing is like, look at this, it's for sale. Look at this, it's for sale. Look at my shop, look at my shop, look at my store, look at my store, look at my restaurant. Look at what I'm doing, look what I'm doing. But I'm not really giving you an opportunity to get to know me if I'm selling at you all the time. So you want to be sure that you're giving them an opportunity to talk back to you. That means pieces of engagement that would elicit a response, that would elicit a conversation. Being sure that you're not just selling. You're developing a relationship with your customers. You're developing a relationship with this audience. And so be sure that you're not ask. So if you can tell a story, if you can craft a message, if you can build a sense of community, you can win their business. This also means that you have to, there's a give and get there, okay? Your personal Facebook, you need to be engaging with businesses, because if somebody engages with my business, I remember that, okay? I go through and look at every comment. I talk to every single person on there. I remember that. And if you're in there and you're talking to me and you're doing business with me and you own a business, I'm going to do business with you. It's reciprocity. It's how it works. But you also need to remember that your personal Facebook is not separate from your business Facebook. You cannot be two different people, okay? I don't ever put anything on my personal Facebook page that I would not be willing to be quoted on in the newspaper. Now, for any of you who are connected on my personal Facebook page, you probably think, wow, you are super under-medicated because you put a lot of crazy stuff on there. But that's my brand. I can get away with that, okay? That's what my customers like about me. It's what my network likes about me. It's what my coaching clients like about me, is that my brand is sort of specific. But you don't have something separate. Your personal Facebook has to help leverage and support this brand that you're creating. You are not separate from that. And if you're not treating Facebook like the ultimate networking opportunity, like you're leaving money on the table, okay? Like right now, I have a thing going on my Facebook page. I posted it Sunday night, asking if people had watched The Tiger King, which if you haven't, Lord have mercy, you need to do it. Literally the whole world is talking about this documentary, okay? So I post this Sunday night. I still have people this morning commenting on it. And I'm commenting back, and we're talking about this show. What does that have to do with business? Nothing, not really. It just means that I'm creating this relationship that people are going to say, oh, well, I was talking to Ashley Mara on Facebook the other day. We don't realize but how much of those conversations have become ingrained into our whole social identity, okay? Like I talk all the time, like telling my husband, well, I was talking to so-and-so on Facebook the other day, just like I ran into him in the store. Like it's a part of how we connect and communicate. So the more you do that, the more people know you. The more you do that, hopefully they like you more. And remember, what's the first rule of business? People want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. So you've got to use your personal Facebook to engage with people, because if they like you, they're going to tell people, hey, go to my friend's restaurant. Go check her out. She's a great massage therapist. Like you need to have those relationships to leverage it, especially right now when people are sitting at home. You know, a lot of people have not lost a paycheck yet, and they're saying, what can I do to help? They're buying takeout, they're getting to-go orders, they're going through the drive-thru, they're trying to buy the gift cards. Like, go ahead right now and develop some of these strategies to help with that. And so you want to think about your audience. I find a lot of times with my coaching clients that people don't even know two things. One, who their customer is, and two, what their true numbers are, okay? I know what the average sale is in my shop. So I know how much I can spend to get a new customer. I know that on average, when a woman comes in, she's going to spend X, okay? And I know what age she is. I know what income bracket she's in because I intimately know my customer. So you have to think about, one, who is your customer? Are they male? Are they female? How old are they? Do they have kids? What time are they free? Do they have a lot of discretionary income? Do they control the discretionary spend of the home? Do they buy for themselves? Are they buying for others? Like, you need to really understand that about your customer to know how to talk to them. And then you have to step back and look and say, who do I want my customer to be? And is your current customer the same? That's a tough one. That's a tough one. When we launched the Shops at Coldwater, I knew that I wanted middle-aged women to be my customer, and everything I did was in support of her, whether it was online or whether it was in the store. Like when you come in our shop, everything in there is for her. The temperature, the dressing room, even the men's gift, it's for her to buy for him. You have to know your customer that intimately, because people, when they feel like they've been recognized and they feel like they've been seen, there's so much power in that connectivity, and you can create that, and you can absolutely create that online. But you have to think about it. So like, let's say your customer is a middle-aged woman and she's got kids and she's having to go through the pickup line, and maybe I can talk to her in the pickup line, and when is she going to be live, and is she cooking for her family, and what time would her kids go to bed, so when would she be free to talk to me, you know, and does she like to use Instagram stories, does she like Facebook stories, you know, are you leveraging that? Is your customer on Instagram? You know, right now there's a whole thing with TikTok videos. Your customer might not be on TikTok, okay, because really, like TikTok, Snapchat, I'm not a big believer that those things can be monetized for small businesses. I mean, I can see the big brand business game, but it's more about the content that you can save on there and export to where your network is. So for example, one of my business partners, Josh Kelly, has gotten, again, Tiger King obsessed, and he made these hilarious videos last night pretending to be Joe Exotic and got a ton of engagement, and it's really embarrassing. Also, I think he might possibly need mental help, but he was able to use, you know, the tools from TikTok and from Snapchat and turn it into really engaging content on Facebook. So don't dismiss those things just because that's not where your customer is. Use it to create the content. So when you're thinking about Facebook, you have your Facebook, your personal, and now we know we're going to leverage that for our business. You have your Facebook page, so you've got your stories, you've got all that. And then you can also have a Facebook group. And if you are in like a retail situation, and I think right now even restaurants could do some cool things with groups. Facebook is putting a lot of emphasis on groups because they're putting an emphasis back on community. 2 years ago, Facebook changed the way businesses could interact and really get ad space on Facebook. So it used to be that you could post something, and if you got enough shares and you got enough engagement, it would sort of go wild, and now they really sort of want you to pay for that algorithm space. And their thought process was, well, we think that people are reporting that they're miserable on Facebook because they're only connecting with businesses, and we think they'd be happier if they were over connecting with like their friends and family. I say it's because they're too connected with their friends and family, and people are lying about their lives on there. Don't lie. You know that woman who goes and has like the perfect vacation, and you're like, oh my gosh, everything looks amazing for her, but then you actually know that she's like in debt up to her eyeballs. Like those things create like this tension and this insecurity and this instability that makes us feel a little off. And so I think Facebook used, this is my opinion, I think Facebook used that as a way to justify making people pay for this space. So having said that, they've put this emphasis on groups because they really want there to be a community, and it's really easy to build a group. Like you can invite some of your friends and family to join. You know, I do a giveaway every month in mine. So instead of spending a lot on Facebook ads, I'll do like a $250 giveaway and add about 1,000 people every single time I do it. And I just started doing that 2 months ago, and it has worked really, really well. And so each time that I do that, like the first time that I did that, I got a customer who within the first month had spent over $1,000 with me. Listen, That's a big win. If you can spend a couple $100 and then get a customer who's spending over $1,000 with you, that's a huge win. And so every time we do that, I get new customers who have never shopped with me before, who are coming in the shop. Like we had a week where every single day we had at least 5 new customers come in the shop or shop with us online. That's a big deal. And it's that group, it's that community. It's those women feeling like they know me and they know my team and they want to shop with people they know, like, and trust. So I think creating a Facebook group, if that's right for your brand, right now, something like a restaurant, what I think would be cool is if you had a group and you could share like recipes for people. If they're quarantined and they don't feel like they could get out, you could have a cocktail of the day. You could even ask some of the musicians that you've hired in the past to do private concerts in your group. Okay, that would be really cool. That would drive engagement. That would drive people to your group. One cool thing about groups is that they're more likely to see when you post something, when you're interacting in there versus if it's a page. So it's a really great place to sort of put people and control that information flow. Okay, so when you're thinking about doing a Facebook video, when you're thinking about doing a live and you're thinking about your content, go ahead and think about like, this is what I'm going to talk about and this is what I'm going to post. Sit down on like a Sunday afternoon or whatever your afternoon is and go ahead and plan out that week. Facebook has scheduling abilities on the page or in the group, and then you can always get something like a Hootsuite or something like that to help you do it. I think that's a really great way so you're not just sitting there and going, it's 2 o'clock, I gotta go post something in my group. So be sure that you're sort of planning it out. You can plan out the items that you're gonna sell. You can plan out the pieces of engagement you're gonna do, and it sort of gives you a minute to think about when are they available, and it sort of allows you to track it because you've sat down and you've made this content calendar. And just be sure that you're posting things like things that are funny, things that are inspirational, things that get people engaged. So if you're on this video right now and you've joined the Click Synergy Clickers group and you've answered all the questions, you will be allowed to remain in this group, and later this evening or in the morning, I'm gonna post a ton of content that you can use right now in your groups, you can use right now on your pages to get people talking to you and get people talking about your brand and get people connecting with you. If you've not answered those questions, you need to get those answers to Alyssa so you can stay in the group because you do not want to miss that. I'm also gonna make myself available tomorrow. I am gonna go back and answer questions if anybody has any, but I'm gonna go back this week and just go live in here. And if you have questions about your business and you wanna ask, I'm gonna make myself available to do that. Why would you do that, Ashley? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's because if this really is the apocalypse, I have no survival skills and I gotta build up people who won't let me starve. Okay, next. So let's talk about the 4 B's of engaging with customers. If you could see my PowerPoint presentation, it would make more sense because I have these little B's. But let's talk about the B's of engaging with customers. 1, you want to be timely, okay? So don't post in the middle of the night because is your customer up in the middle of the night? If they are, talk to them. Like, are you a restaurant that's feeding shift workers that are working 3rd shift that might be looking for something to eat at that time and you're willing to deliver to them? Well, then that's a good time to post, but be sure that you're timely and be sure that your content is timely. Like, don't, be sure the stuff that you're posting isn't about 2018. Be sure it's about like right now. And so that sort of goes 2 ways. And then the second B is you want to be relatable. No one wants somebody who does a Facebook Live or posts a piece of engagement that it's perfect all the time. Like, I have people tell me, well, I don't want to do a live. What if I messed up? Okay, you messed up. Literally almost every single time I do a live, I get tongue-tied and I have to go, let me try that again. People like that because that's real. Again, people are looking for stories, looking for real people to connect with, especially right now when they're quarantined and the social distancing is very, very real. People are looking for somebody they can say, I want to be friends with that person in real life. Because if they know you, like you, and trust you, they're way more likely to give you their money or their support. And right now, one might mean the other, okay? So be sure you're not doing everything super perfect. Like, who cares if you don't have on makeup? Like, who cares if your outfit's not perfect? Like, my hair looks insane today because it's like all these flyaways. It's totally fine. Like, it's totally fine. Don't overthink it, because people want to connect with you in a really real way. You also want to be consistent. So be sure that you're posting consistently. One of the biggest problems that I see with businesses is that when they don't make social media strategies a priority, it's like they look up one day and they go, garbage. I've not posted to my Facebook page in a week. I'm gonna dump 34 pictures. And then they walk away from it, okay? You cannot dump 34 pictures and not tell me what the product is, how I can buy it, how I can connect with you, and then walk away, and then 2 days later, there's all these comments and all these questions. Don't do that. Be consistent. Consistently post. Sit down and schedule it out. Make sure that you're posting at least 2 to 3 times a day. I think if you post more than that, it can be a little bit of an overkill. So just be sure that you're giving them an opportunity to consistently post with you, and don't walk away. I do a Facebook Live at 9 o'clock on Tuesday nights, okay? It usually takes me 30 to 45 minutes. When I'm done with that live, I go straight home and I get on my couch and I stay with my phone answering questions, engaging with people for at least an hour and a half before I go to bed, okay? And why do I do that? Because people want to connect, and maybe they couldn't connect right then, but the immediacy, like they wrote something and I immediately responded back, that makes people feel good. Why do millennials like to talk to brands online? It makes them feel important. One time, Publix had released this commercial that everyone was talking about on Facebook, and I guess it was like on the Super Bowl, and I hadn't watched it, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And so I went on Publix's page and I was like, hi Publix, I was wondering if you could tell me where I could find that. And they sent that to me, and they sent me like a $10 off coupon to come in there and shop. And I was like, wow, this national brand recognized me, talked to me, made me feel like a valued customer. That's not unique to Publix. You can do that too. If people are engaging with you, they want you to recognize them. At the very least, you've got to go through and react to anything they say. You know, sometimes when I'm tired and I don't really know, like, I don't really have like it in me to have an extended conversation, I'll go through and post a GIF, whatever. One of them things. I never know how to say that.
I think it's GIF.
We're going to go with GIF, because that's what I said the first time. So I'm going to go with that was right. So sometimes I'll just go and do that. Like just something that would be, you know, responsive back. You know, you can pull that up on Facebook. You press the GIF button, type in the words that you might want to say, like yes girl, or oh for sure, or you're right, you're amazing, whatever. And it'll pull it up and just send it on. That's really easy, and it's engagement, and people think it's cute, and they think it's witty and funny. So it's really good. The last B for engagement is you want to be sure that you're easy. You want to be easy. And you're going, I don't know what that means. So it means a couple of things. One, you want to be sure that your social strategy isn't just limited to just like one thing. I feel like I can sometimes get really sort of into my group because that's where my customer is and that's where I know her and I talk to her. And really these past couple of months, we've been saying, okay, we really need to be on Instagram. We really need to be putting more on just the regular Facebook page instead of driving everybody to the group, because maybe we're missing some folks who don't like that group experience. And so being sure that you're have like an omni-channel experience, okay, that there's lots of different ways to engage with you and that there's lots of different ways to pay you. So that's part of being easy, that you can go on your website, you can go on Comment Sold, you can do Apple Pay, you can do PayPal, like making sure that you're easy to do business with. Make sure that you lower that barrier for entry. So I have a lot of middle-aged to older customers who will sometimes message me and say, Ashley, I can't get X, Y, and Z to work on the website. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I always assume it's me. And I go and look at it and I'm like, I've had 30 sales today of people buying that exact same thing. It's not the website, it's them. And then I send them an invoice or I do something to make their life easier. Is that a little extra work on my part? Sure. Did I make money at it? Yup. Don't complain if you're making money. And people know that. People know when you help them and you go that extra mile, they talk about it and they remember it. I'm going to talk about equipment later. Okay, so we've talked about our audience. We're talking about who they are and when we want to talk to them. So let's talk about like what time you're going live. Now, this really means that you have to know your audience, okay? So I know that because I have a lot of moms that still go through the pickup line, if they were still in school, if I post something between like 2:30 and 2:45, do you know what she's doing? She's sitting in the pickup line, scrolling on her page. Scrolling. Link. Height of the Statue of Liberty, but she's scrolling, okay? I have an opportunity to talk to her and get to her then. Right now, during quarantine, that might be a little bit different. You know, people, it's still so new that people don't necessarily have a schedule, but I still think that like at night after dinner, depending on your customer, for me, it's middle-aged women, that's when she is the most available to me. Like her kids have already had a bath, they're settling down, they're watching TV, she's sitting on the couch or sitting in bed scrolling. I have her attention, okay? And I know that because I've been doing this for a while with her. And so you've got to find that time when she's ready. So like maybe you need to like find out like is your customer more available in the morning before they go to work? And you know what? There's nothing wrong with just asking. When are you the most available to interact with something like this? If they're your customer, they're going to tell you because they like you and they want to help you with your business. So be sure that you look at the camera, okay? So I'm sitting here and here's my phone and the camera is this little bitty dot right there. I'm looking at the camera. If I look at the camera, what does that mean? That means that I look like I'm looking at you in your eyeballs and I'm making eye contact with you. If I'm looking at myself right here, it looks like I'm looking down, okay? Or like I'm looking at my boobs. No one wants to watch somebody look at their boobs. That's super awkward. Make eye contact with them, okay? And then also know that there is a little bit of a delay. Also, if you guys have questions, I'm going to go back and answer them at the end. So be sure, like on Facebook Live, there's a little bit of a delay. So for example, when I asked you guys to hit the emoji button, it's going to take about 8 seconds for you to hear it and then those emojis to start coming through. So sometimes you'll say something and you'll be like, I wonder if people thought it was funny. Well, it might take 5 to 10 seconds before you could see any sort of reaction, okay? So be sure to sort of know that there's not an immediacy there like there is maybe with FaceTime or just talking over the phone. So you've got that little bit of a drag, a little bit of a delay. I think camera angle is really important. Right now, I have my camera where it's up and just a little bit down because it's a better angle for me. It doesn't make my face look so full. Wink. I call it my old lady angle. And then you also want to be sure that as people are logging on that you've asked a question, you've asked them to say hello, and then just within reason say hello to them. But you don't want to just like stop and go, oh, well, hey, Becca, hey, Karen, hey, Kate, because now you're disrespecting the other people's time. So you want to be sure that when you're saying hello that you're not being super disruptive. So when you go live, there's some things you want to do. One, ask them to tag a friend, and share. I like to tell people, I do a giveaway when I do it. So I tell people tag a friend and then 24 hours from now we'll do a giveaway. You know, if you tag people, that's how you get entered. Ask them to host a watch party. So right now we have people who are watching this who have hosted a watch party onto their pages so that other people could potentially see it. You know, do a giveaway. And also don't get super sideways about how many people are watching or how many people are engaging. Like when you go back and look at your page, I have seen people who have 25, 30, 50,000 followers, but if you only have if you have 50,000 followers and you only have 50 people that are engaging with you, those are not truly your customers. Those numbers mean nothing if they don't equate to sales. I had a potential customer who approached me. They have a construction company and they wanted me to build up their social media following. And when I really looked at their business, they made money by getting these huge contracts with like collegiate campuses building buildings. Well, having 10,000 Facebook followers doesn't make them any money. And so when I said I could get you 10,000 followers, but you're not going to make any money off of it, so unless you're just wanting to pound your chest, what's the point? So like my group right now, we're still building. We have about 3,500 people in there, but I have a high engagement level for those 3,500 people. Those women know me. They want to do business with me. They're shopping in the shops. Yesterday, I asked for them to do a special surprise box, and I had a bunch of them buy because we have a relationship with each other through this group. So don't get super upside down with, oh, I only have 500 people. If it's 500 of the right people, that's really all that matters. The numbers mean nothing if they don't equate to sales. I want you to hear me again. The numbers mean nothing if they don't equate to sales. Who cares? Otherwise, it's just bragging rights, and nobody cares about that. I really don't care about bragging rights. I care about how much money I have in my account. It may be ugly, but that's where we're at. So, practice, practice, practice. One of the things that I recommend to people, I have a private group that my partners are in, that my team is in, that when I go to set up my lighting, when I go to do stuff, I go live in that group to make sure my lighting's right, to make sure my sound is right, to make sure everything sort of like looks right, but it's private. So I'm not doing this in front of my customer. I'm not adjusting it. It gives me an opportunity to test out new things, to try out stuff. It doesn't cost anything. Just do it. It's fine. Get your mama, get your best friend, get somebody to come in there with you if you don't have a big extended team that they can look at and sort of say, hey, adjust this or do this. You also want to find, I think, a consistent spot to shoot. I think that helps. Like in our shop, we have some sketchy places as far as service goes. So I think you want to be sure that you have a consistent spot. Like in the boutique world right now, there are people who have like these sort of elaborate sets, and that's where they go. And people know when they see that come up that there's about to be a sale, and it doesn't distract from what they're talking about. But if you're like in a restaurant, I say you need to be all over. Like I'd go live sitting at a table, with a customer, or go live as you're walking up to give a customer something in their car. And don't forget to smile. Okay, so let's talk about things you should be doing right now in quarantine. So in my group, because I know those women so well, one of the things that we're doing is we're doing things that have nothing to do with the shops. So I am reading children's books because they've got kids and grandkids that they're trying to entertain during quarantine. We're doing time-lapse videos of one of my employees getting ready. So she'll put on an outfit and she's got all this and it's sped up so you can watch it really fast of her getting ready. We're going to start posting those this week. I did an exercise class on Sunday. I am a big girl. So the idea of me doing an exercise class is one, absolutely hilarious, and two, it was a lot of fun. So I call it Follow the Leader, and I had an exercise tape playing. We had it loud enough where everybody could hear it, and I did it, and people did it at home alone, or people did it,